Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to see off another player and see another player move on into the round of 4 of the Tribunal Stage of Acropolis number 3. We've got TopRamen in the bottom left of Serenity. He is our Platinum Terran. And jakulangski is up here in the top right. I don't know what color this is. He's not Coyote Brown. Well, I'm going to guess chestnut. But it was saddle brown. I haven't seen that color in so long. jakulangski resurrecting the old colors. We love to see that. You know the deal by now. We're going to be taking a look at the pick ban in this series. We've got a Fulcrum start here for TopRamen and a Larvask first for jakulangski, so nothing really out of the ordinary as Ramen is not known as a bio player. So with Serenity as our start, we can see how we got to that location. Near impact, the first ban. Ooh, that hurts! Jujix is the admin for this matchup. Stayed up till 1 in the morning local time for this matchup. You just ban his map like that. At least jakulangski counters by, after a ban of mass destruction, picking Crisis Vector. I did hear that jakulangski is not a fan of the 4 spawn maps that are in this tournament. I think part of that reason is because Paradise didn't make it in. Very, very funny, very amusing. As we have, don't worry about the combat sounds. That's just Rilla Rokor's attacking a Mason. We can still talk shop about the veto here. So we've got Blackwater Bastion as our 4th map if we need it. Brainstorm is the 3rd map. And we've got Radium for the Decider. I'm glad that we'll see Brainstorm again. Last time we saw that was what? I think it was a ZVZ match that was recently on the channel. It was either Crank Cannoli or it was Cannoli the Night Fox. I think it was the Night Fox Cannoli, actually. Yeah, that sounds about right. And the other vetoes were Check Stealer and Decapitation. So yeah, Blackwater Bastion, the only 4 spawn map that we'll be seeing in this rotation. And that's if we even need it. Which is no diss to Jack, but TopRamen is seed number 1. He is the most likely seeded player, you know, in terms of by strength, that as we can guesstimate, as we can estimate. Now, it's single elimination, so anything can happen in some ways. But these are all best of 5s. It's pretty robust matches. The better player on the day should win. And Ramen should be the better player, you know? Just thinking historically. That Rilla Rokor is actually going to steal away that mine, so a little bit unfortunate for Ramen as he's trying his best to apply a little bit of pressure with these early vultures. There's a lot of quads coming out for Jack, and you do have to be somewhat careful. One thing that's in the matchup that I think it's been a while since Ramen would have seen is Quaslisks did get a 0.5 movement speed increase. So they move at, 0.25, even less than I thought. They move at 5.25 speed. Just so you guys know. So they used to be 5. So they're narrowly a little bit faster than a Huracan now. That's basically the comparison point, right? And so, yeah, definitely not a humongous impact, but it adds up. It's probably at least 1 second faster to hit your base, especially on Serenity, which is, according to Krankendow, the map with the shortest rush distance between mains. I pulled that from a Krankendow comment. You guys are welcome to go and comment on the videos and give me some wisdom like that. It would be really funny if people just started saying stuff like that, but they had no idea if it was true or not. That would be the maximum amount of helpfulness here. Now, we'll finally get a connection on the lobotomy mines as the vultures are trying to mount a comeback here. And I say a comeback, I'm talking about the numbers. Look at the numbers of quads. It's been perpetual pressure. Now, Ramen is fine with this because what he's basically doing is transferring into Scrapyard where he's gone some Matadors. And the Matadors are just going to be insurance against like a Zeth Flood or some kind of run back, and he is going to go for that expand. So, yeah, it looks like as the Zorka Shroud comes out, as the Vornath Pawn comes out, Jack is kind of light in workers, 14 workers, and he's really heavy on military. So what is Ramen's reaction to this style? Because I know he's played against Hit 'em Up, who loves to make just non-stop worker. That's his Zerg methodology. Make worker, make static defense, tech up, win with tier 2. That's usually how he plays. Now we've got the Matador drop queued up here, so the Trojan is leaving the building. I actually missed the star pad earlier. And the Vultures are still doing their dance. A couple of good connections on those lobotomy mines will freeze it, allow the Vultures to get a little bit closer. Ramen will steady himself as he does not have any further Vultures coming in. And Jack has no doubt noticed that the lack of reinforcement Vultures means that the money has been spent elsewhere. The resource is allocated. He has a Circuit in here in the mineral line. We'll see what the DPS mats actually look like here. Is he's just going to unload it directly on to the worker line. And so many of those workers are going to be damaged. Now, how many of them are actually going to go down? It looks like we've got 1 kill, 3 kills. So 4 workers went down. It's not terrible. He actually would have killed the Circuit with his Matadors if he had unloaded them both within range of it, but then he probably would have done less worker damage. I love that the Vulture actually slips on by. These Quads were actually burrowed. If they weren't burrowed, then Jack would have maybe been able to just repose the Vulture automatically. And now we've got a Trojan with a very wounded Matador in its cargo container. He's going to unload it for a little bit more value. Not going to be able to get any more workers, but hey, that doesn't stop jakulangski from burrowing and panicking a bit. Because, you know, who wouldn't panic when flamethrowers suddenly arrive in your mineral line? That's usually a bad thing. Now, we have some Cyclops mixed in with the Blackjacks. They can absolutely run roughshod over the Quads here. But I am a little bit concerned because I know these Cyclops are probably destined for that mineral line, and that Circuit is wounded. 3 Cyclops maybe will be a little bit easier to riposte for this, but it does feel to me like that's going to be enough to deal with not just the worker line, but also the Drolets. Now, it does look like they're going to go after the Larvosk instead, which to me is going to be a lot more of a bold choice. The Trojan's going to go down to the Nathrakors there, and he will actually fully clear that very important Larvosk. So that is still probably cost efficient. Maybe not on the minerals side, but pretty close anyway. He cleared some Quads. I'd say he made up for it. The problem is he lost the Trojan. If he had kept the Trojan alive, it would have been just fine. The Nathrakors were scouted, so we're seeing a couple of Watchdogs be thrown down in both bases as the macro is clearly in Ramen's favor. He's continuing to make fulcrums. Got a Palladium on the way. Okay, yeah, I mean, we're in for a pretty action-packed opening game. Jakulangski not able to really stabilized so far. There's no Anseal here, so there's no detection. The one Lakes might end up slowing Ramen, because if you do have this very, very squishy and stacked army, it can be a real nightmare to actually try to get in there. So the Blackjack goes up deep enough to scout, sees the one Lake is there with his Cyclops, which does splash down some of his mech units there. And they're not very tanky, right? You can see him going for the one Madrigal just in case he needs the emergency anti-air. And it looks like we are going to add some more add-ons here. More Scrapyard and more Palladium. Okay, so one of each. The Anseal is arrived, so we are going to see that detection necessary to help range down the Lake is. But we should see at least one Phalanx, so you can start to artillery strike it. That bonus 10 health, or bonus 10 damage, rather, it doesn't really offset much because the armor of the Lake is, plus the HP regen that you get when you're Zerg in general, will kick in before the Phalanx has time to fire. These Nathrakors just scouting out and are going to see... Ooh, they both got. Well, the Watchdog did get +1 range. I don't know if that factored in there quite as immediately as we might have thought, because obviously the Nats weren't revealed by the cliff, right? They had to actually come in a little bit, but anyway, probably did matter. We got more Nats actually earmarked for Jack's opponent, but it looks like he's going to pull back. Extra hatch in the natural. I like it. I like it. Save your gas for other things. But yeah, if you just put down like a little bit of damage to the Lake is, 2 Phalanx shots will kill it, right? They only need to be like looking at 1 damage. Oh no, the Anseal's dead! That was a little bit of a misfire there from Ramen. He should have definitely like queued it back down or something. Easy mistake to make, but the Nathracor still finding uses. Very, very good. And now with no detection, that Madrigal, sure, it's going to be deployed, but the Lakes are going to be having a field day with this position. Oh, the Madrigal ends up going down at the very end. There's still 2 more, so... Ramen trying a more Madrigal-based style instead of the artillery. He's got a decent amount of money in the bank. He's floating his 3rd Ministry over. Phalanxes are now on the way, but they do take a while to get anywhere. And unfortunately for Jack, it looks like he is going to end up sacking a couple of the Nathracors. We got the perma muzzle flash there, a classic move. That's actually, I think, new to the new iScript stuff, so we got to fix that later. Anyway, the Zorius is indeed on the way. This is a tough spot for Ramen because the front line is tanky enough that it takes a while for the Cyclops and Blackjacks to clear it. It'll be a little bit different now that the Phalanxes are here. They can actually push those Lakes back. So the first shot is fired. He needs to unburrow those or he's going to end up losing them, thankfully. Oh, 1 Lakes will still go down. That Ansem needs to get the hell out of dodge, though. Eesh. All right, well, the dancing Blackjack for good luck. Watch out for the Cyclops shots. Okay, it's good. It had energy. It had energy. Transferring workers down to the 3rd base. Economic powerhouse for TopRamen. He's going for tier 2 tech, which is going to cut into his army strength. I don't know. I'm looking at this Lakes count, and at the very least, Jack should be able to hold, but I don't know if he can ever break out right now. That's probably the biggest of deals. Ooh, some of those Vorvs getting shellacked beforehand. Really rough stuff. Well, time will tell where we end up here as the Nathrakors, the Zorius, the Zeths, a little bit of everything being used right now. The only unit missing is the Gorgorkor. Quas are obviously not in the picture anymore, but he is going to be going for some Gorgs now. And he's upgrading the ski-backed scab. So the problem is that that's actually very far forward. The Phalanxes could sit here and range it down. That feels like a mistake to place it there when you know you're up against the Phalanx, right? And so as soon as the Ant Seal sees that, it does feel like, surely, yeah, I'm going to start shelling that. Well, at least getting some of these Lakes back. So certainly a big opportunity there. A little bit of damage dealt to the Ant Seal from friendly splash. Some of those Lakes going down. The Gorgs are out. The Blackjack is here in enough number that it should still be enough, but it's hard to say. I mean, there's what, 3 of them are going to be out, or maybe are already out. Yeah, if the anti-air gets wiped here, especially Cyclops that are going to be doing damage to themselves and their allies when the Gorgs are on top of them, that could be a really big problem here. Captaincies are on the way for TopRamen. And now here comes the big push, the attempted breakout. He's on top of things with the Lakes, with the Zeths, with the Vorvs, and the Zoryus on top of everything else as well. This looks to be more than enough to clear TopRamen's position. Will he have tier 2 tech up in time to hold the counter push? Has he done enough military damage with what he's got here? Because this looks like a total wipe, a total breakout. The Lunatics running the Asylum, the Zerg free from their cage. Diving back, there's Antseals getting killed by Nathracors, and only a few fail. Oh my god, there's nothing back at home. All of his stuff caught in a tech transition now. Well, his third base is up and running, so that'll be the first target here. And that's assuming Jack even waits long enough. I mean, if these defenses get up and running, or he can kind of sabotage while the attack while that's happening, he is stuffing it back. Jack's hesitancy could cost him here in a big way. There's a real chance he has the opportunity to push across the map and finish the job, or at least put himself into a really nice spot economically. We've got the 4th base coming online in the bottom right as well during all of this. So as Gorgacores are hatching back in the main base, the ski-backed scab intact, not needing to be remutated. That's a big deal for sure. Okay, here come the Sentinels. They are finished at the 3rd base. That feels like such a feels bad moment for Jack. You know, he scouts it, them, you know, finishing up as he's about to go in, and suddenly becomes so much harder. Now, he doesn't have that many static defenses in the natural. Really, hardly any. Nothing for anti-surface. His army is just going to get collapsed upon. There's a couple of madcaps, but that's the only tier 2 that he's got. There's so many Sentinels cracking shot after shot, but I don't think it's going to be nearly enough. The Apostle, oh, they're running up. There's so many of them clumped up together, but they've got nothing. They've got nothing to support them. They're just going to get munched. Maybe they can hightail it into the Trojan. That's a fat chance, as the Watchdog is going to be collapsed upon as well. No opportunity to resurrect them. He's making madcaps now. Oh, man, when the Zerg's on top of the production and they're wiping the Masons in the mineral line for the main base, it feels so difficult. Let's see. The madcaps might be able to still hold on. Those Gorgs doing so much damage to all of those clumped up bio units, as well as the Blackjacks that are coming out. Okay, some Zoryus have arrived. I guess at the very least you can deploy those and see if you can whittle down some of the Zerg, but it feels unlikely with how durable the Zoryus are and how the Bactyls are all the way in the backline anyway. I guess the Masons could try to fight at the natural. This feels like Jack might have actually got him. He might have done it. Still, there's a 3rd base mining. I'm trying to look for silver linings. I don't think it's going to happen, boys. I think we're about to see Jack perform an upset and take the first map. The first map can be so instructive for the series. What do we have? Do we have anything? I guess we have 1 Striga on the way. We got Phalanxes coming out. 3 of them at the same time. I don't know that it's going to be enough. The madcaps pop out here, and they've actually been massing up quietly off in the corner. I missed that. But yeah, the natural is completely wiped. 3rd base is mining, I guess, kind of. Phalanxes are shellacking some of those units in the back, but they will be overwhelmed, courtesy of the Zethacors. Oh yeah, these static defenses could have probably floated up at some point, but hey, I won't critique too much. This is a very chaotic moment right now. Yeah, with reinforcements coming in, at least these Masons are a little bit safer now, but the Iziracors are on top, so never mind. I told a lie. 1 Striga versus the world. A couple of madcaps trying to lay down the suppressive fire. The Armor Rend helping them out a little bit versus things like Bacta and Hydra, as well as Iziracor. Reinforcements on the way. This looks so over. I guess you might be... Oh, with more Phalanxes popping out, there might be an aversion to this, but... I mean, Jack doesn't have the biggest of bank, actually. I guess the game will go on. Hold on. So normally I'd be so critical in this kind of situation. I'd be like, Ramen is still in the game. I can't believe it. Your tournament life's on the line. You don't want to give up if you don't have to. So there's that, right? But like, if this was just a normal cast over game, I'd be like, what the hell's Ramen doing? I totally get it now. It's a tournament game. But actually, not that he knows this, Jack went all in on military production. There's nothing mining at his third base. And his natural is undersaturated. What do we got? 20 workers, oversaturation there for sure, especially as those mineral fields are about to be depleted. If not entirely, then at the very least they are partially depleted already. Static defense at the third, holding that down. Was smart from Jack to prioritize the other bases, but Tier 2 tech being leveraged now. Is there a way back in for Ramen? He's quietly saturated this base. I don't know if that was a transfer. I swear, there's no way it could have built up that during that time, but I guess the attack was long enough that it actually could have. Now adding apostles for the bad boys. Scrapyard being rebuilt. Maybe he'll end up rebuilding that fulcrum. I personally probably would have just lifted this fulcrum, put it there, but I'm valuing immediate unit production because I know the next attack is probably coming pretty soon. And if I can continue to hold, maybe I have a chance. There is I think a Trojan up here. It's got a sieged phalanx in it, so that's not going to be supremely useful unless there's a hole in the defense that is spotted. The apostles come forward and they're going to try their best to resurrect things, but I'm not sure it'll be quite enough. Sometimes you can get into these sustain wars. The resurrection animation for the apostle is much longer now. Yeah, there's not really any sustained fire here. And Jack closes the distance, which lets some of those Zerg units get reclaimed by the apostles. Okay. The second time he makes 4 apostles, it actually kind of works out. Finally, there's been a worker transfer for the third base, but there's no units guarding it. There's the one lake is burrowed. Is he going to be on the ball? He sees it. One worker will go down. I think the rest can just kind of hightail it out of there, right? Oh, well, actually, that one doesn't. That's not too bad. He's got to load that up and get out of here. Ooh, a lot of damage put down on it. Not really anything over here to stop it on this side, but... Oh, he's actually... No, he's going to do one better. Just going to drop right there. Slowly, it'll be forced to lift off, courtesy of the Rilla Court. But he's just being cheeky with it. I don't think it's going to be too much of consequence. Now, I don't think Jack has any idea the bottom right has been taken. He's going to try to see if he can attack into here, but that's quad sentinel, dude. You're not going to break that with Hydra. Not with that many, anyway. If you had like twice the account, I would definitely buy into it. Back Dwarf is really, really good versus Sentinels. The static defense obviously has armor, right? This Phalanx has killed... Oh, I was about to click on it to see the value. I don't know if we'll get another shot. Looks like we will. It is only a... Well, never mind. Went from 5 kills to 10 kills, right? Just like that. 11 kill Phalanx. I'm guessing all of that... Oh, it looks like the Rilla Core did die, but I don't know if that was because it timed out or not, so... We'll say that's 10 workers. Ramen in the lead of workers yet again. Another sieged Phalanx leaving the building. You know, the reclaimed Zoryus can speed everything up, but it's nowhere near the front line, so I don't think that's going to happen. Zoryus Striga is a very scary composition from team games. I know that for sure. There's the spattering of Phalanxes, shellacking the Bactylisks, pounding them to dust. We've got... Oh, 2 of them are about to hatch, and they just get absolutely bang-walloped. If Jack drops this game, which is actually starting to look likely, he never found out about bottom right, he's going to be kicking himself. That is a chance to defeat the #1 player in this part of the tournament, in this phase of the tournament. TopRamen, seeded as #1. This Phalanx only has 2 kills, but one of them might turn into a ski back if he's not careful. There you go. He's going to go ahead and hightail it out of there. Oh, misses that attack, unfortunately. But he has pulled the army over, and now he's just going to charge up here and pressure the third base. And if this falls, it's GG. I don't think Jack can come back. It's not the same thing as Ramen, who has tier 2 facilities and tech already unlocked. Reclaimed lake is... They can burrow themselves. Oh, God. Yeah, I think that there's not really any military left here. GG has to be called, surely. Unless Jack has something I haven't noticed. I have been a bit scatterbrained in this cast. It's been a lot of action. Yep, there's GG. Ramen somehow stays alive. A 19-minute game, and that's how he wins game #1. Basically trailing. He was definitely not in the lead for a lot of that game. The early game looked good for him, but after that, the big breakout, Jack looked like he was primed for victory. We go to Crisis Vector for map 2, and now I'm really excited about this series. Here we are for game 2 of our match 1 of our round of 8. Now, this is the match as it pertains to seeding. It's not the match as it pertains to the order that I'm casting them or even the order that they are being played. You may have noticed that by now. A lot of our scheduling is just down to when players can meet each other. And since Jack is 12 hours ahead of me, I believe, Philippines time compared to Eastern Standard Time here in America, that means that scheduling him is particularly difficult. The old joke was actually, it wasn't about Jack, it was about one of our Russian players, who I think was like 15 hours ahead of me or something. And if I'm not mistaken, Blade Hollow is also like that, but it wasn't Blade Hollow that this was about. It was about a player named Moonhunter, who played alongside Hamster, found the game alongside Hamster, more or less. Shout out Moonhunter one time, and Hamster too. But Moonhunter's time zone was, I believe, Yekaterinburg, I believe is how you pronounce that. I'm pretty sure that's 15 hours ahead. Anyway, regardless of the specific number, I used to think, like, damn, there was a point where he was up against Hapsea for qualification in one of the old, it was Ascension 7's gauntlet, I think, technically. And the qualifier was, I think the game went either 4 games or 5 games, where Hapsea looked like he might get cheesed out at one point. And I thought to myself, damn, if Moonhunter wins, I don't know how I'm going to schedule him. That might be impossible. If he can't make it, I might have to just get Hapsea anyway. And if Hapsea's not available, what happens then? Hapsea did clutch it out. But that was the one time where, not because I was like unhappy with the idea of, say, like a player like upsetting somebody. That can be very exciting, right? I wasn't unhappy with that idea. It was just like, damn, how am I going to do this? It was more like a functional thing. So I don't think that's true of Jack. I'm sure he can make it through and fight against the Shambler if he does perform the upset. But part of me, I remember like when I first saw this match, I was like, damn, that's going to be hard to schedule. Well, Ramen will probably take care of him, so at least it'll be easier to schedule later. Not a rooting against you, Jack, I swear. Just, that's sort of where my brain goes. So anyway, we can talk about upsets if it looks like it's actually going to happen. As right now, Jack has looked pretty good against Ramen. He even took games off of Nebline in their proper races, But looks like these eggs are going to be stunned, which does freeze them for 3 seconds of build time. No workers have gone down yet. Good burrow and riposte so far from Jack. He does end up losing a Quaz, though. The dancing. Now, I have said before that sometimes it feels like Ramen spends too much time microing his vultures for too little gain. But I do know that a lot of the vulture antics here feel like they must happen from the perspective of the Terran. I know that that's the case for a lot of the Terran players out there. They feel like if they don't micro the vulture, then they're going to get super far behind. Maybe there can be a more stable style found at some point. Ramen might just enjoy doing it. Sometimes you do things because, I drop people because, I like that. That's fun. Doesn't always have to be about, like, are you winning, son? But this one, Zeth is going to clear all of those mines, I think. So that Zeth is winning, son. Jack is very happy about that. Got 2 more vultures on the way, but he wants to stop the Zeth from scouting that the Ministry was in construction, and he was successful in doing that. Zethicor sight range is pretty poor, all things considered. One thing I was thinking about recently is how the sight range of the Quaz is 6. I think Zeth is like 4 or 5, whereas Vulture is 8 by comparison, just so you guys know. But I was thinking maybe I'll drop the Quaz sight range too, and just make it slightly more likely that these spammable units, these cheap units, can miss each other on the way. But I think the difference between the Zeth is actually not really about the spammability. They're almost the same resource cost functionally. It's just that the Quaz is much slower. So it kind of makes sense for that. You're not going to use them as scouts nearly as much in the sense of like, oh yeah, nimble. You'll use them to patrol an area, and I don't want to nerf Krankendow, who uses them to scout all the time, as we saw. So the Vultures are doing a little bit of damage here. The Vornath is already on the way, and the Hatch is coming. I actually like Nathicores as a conditional counter to Vultures in the sense that, like, yeah, mass Vultures are going to be a little bit more popular now, so might as well give them a little bit of a talking to, right? And the reason why they're more popular is they have a little bit more health than before, so they're a little bit more durable. Specifically versus Quaz, that can be very helpful. Still a little bit of mining that can be done here, mine laying. Be good on Burrow there to try to pick apart all of the mines. And yeah, without the mines, Quaz do slowly beat these guys back, especially when you factor in the closer reinforcement point. But one thing Ramen is doing by constantly attacking the Quaz is he is forcing more and more military investment. But the Zorkishra was much faster than expected, so Ramen is now going to have to struggle versus that. His Vultures are getting Doven on. He needs to spread in all degrees and outrun the Gorgorkor. Definitely a good idea. Oh, now he's going to dive back. This is pretty cute because he did lay a few mines that the Quaz are going to have to deal with, and now he does scout that the Hatch is on the way or finished in this particular case. There's a bunch of Cyclops out here, but I would worry about charging forward, especially versus Gorgs and Quaz. So the Watchdogs are already on the way. 3 of them in the natural. 1 of them is already complete in the main. The star pad is here as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Trojan. Oh, well, I'm not surprised to see a Trojan. And there you go. 3 Cyclops only. He wants to be a little bit more on the conservative side there. With 1 Watchdog, it's not quite enough to deal with 2 Gorgs. The other problem here is that well, I guess it's enough to deal with 2 Gorgs, but you do need to watch out here because the Cyclops will deal friendly damage, right? And the Masons just walk right through it again. So, you know, a couple of Masons do end up going down. That's like 4 or 5 Masons, so that's not insignificant damage. It just means that now we need the Cyclops to come out from this Trojan. As far as I know, Ramen hasn't played that much TVZ. I at least haven't seen many replays posted of him playing TVZ. I think he said that he played ZVT versus Dog a few times. So, or maybe Dog said that about Ramen. I can't remember. Something like that may have happened. Since I can't confirm it, we'll just pretend it didn't so that it's not even a factor in the analysis. But I do wonder what he gets his Cyclops drops in that particular matchup, like what he's mathed out about them. He's a big fan of his DPS immortalization graphs. That's a big word that I don't even know what it means. But that's okay. I'll Google it later. And by Google, I mean DuckDuckGo. Because I ain't no scrub. Welcome up. Cyclops working well. Found an opening here. Oh, and a single Gorger Core flies into Watchdogs. That is not ideal. Well, he definitely did equivalent damage, if not a little bit more. Zeth, Vorv, and Gorg are all here ready to go. The couple Lakas burrowed, and the Quaz stack over here will be wiped out by the Cyclops at least, so there is that. The drop is good here to get a little bit of heckling. He was going after the Larvosk. Those will end up getting wiped out. There's 1 Cyclops left, and the Gorg will respond. See ya. I always love attacking the Trojan in this situation because if it's not being on like hold position, it will just fly away. And A, you can target the unit underneath it better, but B, you also stop the Trojan from picking up the unit, right? So that ends up being pretty useful. Madrigals and Cyclops combine in the middle of the map. Probably wants to think about deploying the Madrigal to deal with the Nathracores en masse, but I guess if he does that, then the Cyclops will deal a lot of friendly splash damage to the Madrigal. There you go. He's wiped it out. All right, so with all that being said, I mean, we're talking about a lot of Droleths in the main base here for Jakulangski. We're talking about a decent amount in the natural as well. Does he have enough military to stop this push from coming across the map, right? There's no healing, so some of these Cyclops are pretty wounded, but there's another fresh batch plus a Madrigal. This more Madrigal heavy style, Cyclops Madrigal, is kind of interesting. We already have the 3rd Ministry on the way, which feels a bit early, but maybe he wants to just power forward with the Mason count. Normally, he just lifts it and goes to the 3rd base, I think. Good Quaz positioning here. Let's see. Madrigal deploys forwardly. Oh, that's going to be a paintbrush of damage there. And he's still revealing some of those Lakas as well, which really sucks for Jack, thanks to that 1 Madrigal's positioning. But yeah, the Zoryus feels like the natural counter to this style, because it's got so much HP that the Cyclops will deal so much friendly flash, as, of course, more Lakas are still there. They have not been unburrowed, and so this rally is going to get cleaned up pretty easily, unfortunately, for Ramen. But yeah, the Rilla Rokors also spawn there and cause you to splash yourself. The Lakas were pretty wounded there. If this army wasn't being minded because of the macro that's going on at home, where there's 7 fulcrums being added, like holy moly, 8 fulcrums being ascended to. The Vorvs may secure the kill on the Madrigal, not quite sure yet. And the 3rd Ministry is down. 4 Cyclops now leaving the building. This is flying directly over the army, but there's nothing that shoots up. So even though this Trojan is spotted, it's actually in some ways the best case for Ramen, because now Jack is going to be focused on trying to defend versus that, if he even noticed it in the first place. And meanwhile, there's scouting found to indicate that the Ministry is indeed under threat. So we still don't have an Anseal to my knowledge. Oh, there is 1 Anseal. I was probably looking at it as I thought, oh, there's no Anseal. So there you have it. Observant as always. There's the unload. Some pretty good damage here right now, but I think that the Cyclops are going to get cleaned by the Gorg. Yeah, they don't even get a chance to kill that one. And back at the front gates, Vultures have joined the fight. There's 1 Phalanx. This shouldn't really break Ramen, but while the Lakas might change the story here, actually only 1 of them burrowing within range of most of the army. The rest of them come up. The Zoryu's speeding everything up here. Hold on. We've got Cyclops coming in the production tab. We got 6 of them popping out, but they're just on rally. They're not even on attack move. uncharacteristically sloppy micro here by Ramen as he is trying to manage his army. He needs to evacuate these Masons before the Lake is make mincemeat of them. A big stun there slows the onslaught of the Rilla Rokors. If you don't kill them now, they will perpetuate because they have that life steal. Or not life steal, the energy steal, I guess you could say. The timed life steal. There you go. Every time they attack, they gain another second of timed life. Plus the Zorius helps to escort them too. They are perpetual in the range of the Zorius. So, as of right now, a lot of Masons died. We're on even workers, but that usually favors the Zerg because they can spike back from a position of worker deficit even, much quicker than everybody else. And to me, it looks like this style where Ramen goes for the fast third ministry and then tries to use that to justify spending or support an economy that can deal with 8 fulcrums, including some add-ons, per rotation here. Well, that's a very different story, and the Ant Seals are not in range to reveal most of those Lakes, though still a lot of them end up getting splattered thanks to the splash damage. Trojan returns home, not unscarred, but not dead either, and so it's going to leave the building. There's still a big flood of units coming for Jack. He's basically just hit the make units only switch. He's even got units back at home to potentially catch stuff. He's got Nats and Zeths ready to intercept drops. And there's no wall here. The anchor, or no, that's a cestus being made. There is no sustainable, stable wall that Ramen can anchor himself to. He's hoping the cestus does that for him, but I think Jack might pull the trigger beforehand, and that could be really dangerous. If the cestus gets up, you can't sniff, like huff at like 2 armor when you're facing your opponent. That can really reduce a lot of damage. Maybe not for the Lakes, but definitely for a lot of other things. Armor end becomes much more impactful. Things like the Vorv reducing 1 armor at least counteracts it a little bit. Really rough, though. Plus, it has no effect on units with only 1 armor. The Cyclops are pretty deep, but look at that, breaking through. There is still no front line here as the Phalanx are going to be overwhelmed. Still, there's not that much DPS from the Zerg army. He's got a couple of reinforcements coming, including Gorgs, and, well, even though he's causing chaos back at home, I don't know if Ramen is going to be able to stabilize over here. He's making only Cyclops Phalanx. I think if those Cyclops had been Blackjacks, or at least half Blackjacks, that might have helped. I think maybe if he had some Matadors that stay alive when under the effects of the even the Cyclops' sustained burst fire, the Matadors can indeed stay alive. That would have been different. But I do think Jack has straight up defeated TopRamen in what might as well be a straightforward macro game. Yeah, there was a lot of action. Yeah, there were drops. Yeah, there was some plays some might consider unnatural. But at the end of the day, this is still a very, very potent showing from jakulangski. And he actually does have hope in the series. He wins his own map pick. If he, we'll see what the plan is on Brainstorm, but either way, Ramen, he does not have tier 3 this time. He does not have a functioning third base this time. He cannot make the comeback of the century happen. The Phalanxes. Oh no, they're hitched onto the Rilla Rokors. There you go. Depressing. Destroying. Devastating. jakulangski has posted a dub. And you know what? I bet Nebline is feeling pretty cool right now. He lost to jakulangski, I think, at least twice. And if that's the case, if Jack is out here killing Nebline, sure, you can say, oh yeah, his experimental styles. Oh yeah, the style hasn't been figured out yet. Jack is grinding. Jack is practicing. He's getting more games because we get more players. We got Kasuga playing. We got K-Dusk is back a little bit. You know, players in the time zone that jakulangski can actually participate in. That is very cool stuff. So, hey, hats off to him, but we still got more games to play. Let's go to Brainstorm for Game 3. With our GLHFs exchanged, we find ourselves upon the vaunted battleground of Brainstorm. This is a port of Blue Storm, commissioned by Hit 'em Up. Classic moves, classic moves. We got TopRamen in the top right. Oh, I don't even think I guessed colors last game, did I? I get so wrapped up talking about like narratives and epic things and how excited I am about the game. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. What I will do is, hopefully I remember, I will after this game go back into the previous replay off recording, and then I'll tell you guys what my color guesses are. I'll do it live, like I'll have it be a little bit of a snippet of the recording. Hey, if you don't see that, call me a fraud in the comments. So TopRamen is in the top right. I think he's Snow now. Is he Snow? He's Snow Terran. Yeah. All right. Well, he's not Protoss, so he can't be real Snow. Although there was that other Snow guy who's a pretty cool guy. He was getting up to the point where he could beat Nebline as Terran, or at least threaten him. I can't remember the exact specifics. He's very solid player. I hope he comes back to Cosmonarchy. Very cool. And also goes by Snow. He's not the real Snow, not the Korean Snow. But he's the real Snow in the sense that he's himself. And down here in the bottom left, we have Emerald Zerg, I think. Oh, it's mint. Well, it was either emerald or mint, and I suppose I should have known based on the color name. But the flesh, the color of the Hatrosk made me think, oh yeah, that's emerald. Anyway, that's jakulangski. Fresh off his victory in the last match on Crisis Vector. Nothing cheesy, really, from either players. It's straightforward. 2 Fulcrum here as the opener, and Ramen is going to be going up with his Mason. I noticed he actually actively tried to kill the Rillarokors on Crisis Vector. I wonder what his angle is there. He's going to see that the Kagrin is on the way. We do have a pool on the way for Jack as well, of course. Pretty bog standard. Fulcrum turning into a vulture production facility. Moments later, there will be a vulture out. Love that. I mean, take a moment to just appreciate. I know this is something that you guys have seen 1,000 times by now if you watch Cosmonarchy Daily. But the Fulcrum has a really epic animation. You know what I mean, guys? You know what I mean? It didn't always animate like this. It used to just have 3 blinking dots or arrows or whatever. DF is a real man. He remodeled it, changed the orientation, or changed the angle of it, right? And then animated a bunch of pieces. Same for the Palladium, actually. So epic. Just that's cinema. That's art right there. I should make this the thumbnail, even though it has absolutely nothing to do with what most of the matches. It's just something I wanted to observe. Hey, these mines are actually going to go off. That'll slow things down a little bit. Unfortunately, Ramen was not able to focus down the same rollout, so he won't get any kills for it, but he's, you know, arguably that's still worth it. I love him laying the mine right next to the larva. Ah, and Jack humors him by turning them into, you know, some eggs that can actually get slowed down. Hey, that vulture's dying. I don't think that vulture's getting out of there. See ya. The Scout Mason could have also come back at some point. Maybe Ramen will still evacuate it. Will he? Yeah, there you go. Go back home, homie. Go home, homie. Go homie. Home. Wow. That's a very fast expand. Has that been how fast the expands have been this whole game? Probably. I think Ramen probably does go like 2 Falcon to expand. He's trying to whittle down some of the combat units that Jack has access to, because at least he can force him to make more. We have a Hydrith opener so far as the follow-up for Jack. Hydrith follow-up to the pool. Good damage spread so far. I love that he's forcing him on Burrow to clear the mines, right? There you go. Jack knows what's up, man. Jack knows what's up. He's still okay here because the vultures are... Oh, they're not rallying down. I thought there weren't any more vultures on the way at all, but actually they're not rallying down. I guess the next rally will be pretty big then. 3rd Fulcrum on the way. He could send 4 vultures now across the map. I don't even think I have time to like review Brainstorm or introduce it to people because it is a new map. Crisis Vector is a new map as well. I probably should introduce people to a little bit more often, but it's actually a bit more straightforward, even though it's super epic, you know, visually. It's definitely a bit more on the straightforward side. The vultures are going to come on in here, and they've got lots of mines. I'm just going to use that to try to slow things down as they dive forward, specifically aiming to disrupt the economy. But the drill is pretty good. It's going to decollide some of those vultures. Meanwhile, we have 2 Zethrakors on the way. 2 vultures back at home, so no threat there. Maybe it's a good thing to not rally all of your units across the map. Maybe I'm learning something by watching TopRamen play. Right now, I'm learning that his harassment, even though he's down to 14 workers and some of them are burrowed and all that, Jack still seems to be in an okay position. He's getting the trifecta of tech that is available to him at Tier 1. Obviously, sans upgrades to the pool and the den. This poor Mason. He's watched so many vultures go down, knowing that soon he will also go down. Especially if these quads end up, you know, waypointing into him. No! He almost escaped! That brave soul. Double Palladium on the way. That does cut unit production for a little bit here for Ramen. He's not actually making any more combat units. And this is kind of scary because the quaz count is so high. Jack isn't making any more units, but a lot just hatched from the eggs. So only 3 vultures out here having to be microed so heavily. Starting to make some Cyclops, it looks like. And he takes his foot off the gas on the micro department just a little bit as he sets himself up here. I think at this point you need to invest in some Static D. Or at least like a Cestus or something to defend against all the quaz. Armor is really good versus quaz. It makes the Terran army almost impenetrable. I was thinking recently about the cornerstone design of the game overall, and how, like, one of the cornerstones, if you will, one of the core designs of Terran, it's not on the website as a cornerstone, but Unsafe Splash is a hallmark of Terran militaries. It's not the only race that has that, but, you know, you think about Star Sovereign, Grief of All Gods, you think about Cascathalor weapon, right? Stuff like that. So there are some cases of it for the other races, but it is really a Terran thing. And I was wondering maybe Cestus or something should, like, reduce damage dealt by allies or something like that. I don't know. Nah, we'll come back to that thought later because we do have another pretty big attack. And well, there's a watchdog here. The 3 Gorgs are actually slowed a little bit. That 1 Madrigal. Oh, it gets into the anchor. That's brilliant for the anti-air. This 1 Madrigal should be able to hunt down that last Gorg before... Oh, there's a watchdog here anyway, so it's all good there. He needs to actually unload that and deploy it so that he can deal with these quads. Oh, it looks like he already did that. I missed the corpse there. Corpse is by a man named Daedrid. It's a little bit noisy, but it can always be changed later. So what is he making out of these now? More Madrigals. If he gets enough Madrigals, the defense is easy. Problem is that there's a horde of Zets here. He's going to need to drill his Masons onto those Zets and disrupt them. A single Blackjack is not going to help here. He needs to get these Masons out of dodge. Way too late on the reaction there for Ramen. Caught slipping. Hydra's on the way for the backup. Now things are going to start to get a little bit scary, guys. Guys, jakulangski, what are you doing? What are you doing? Cowing Ramen to go back behind his Madrigals on the defensive line. He doesn't have any military coming. Now he finally does. Making 3 more Fulcrums. An anchor on the front line is a bold choice because it could get bopped before it finishes. In fact, Jack will see. There's not really that much over here. Yeah, there's no... Jack has like, what? He only has 2 Madrigals? Huh? Okay, I'll kill him. And indeed, that's exactly what Jack is trying to do here. We've got 2 more Madrigals on the way, but I mean, there's a lake is coming. There's all sorts of stuff here. There's no detection in the domain here. No star pad or anything. That one lake is pushing away towards the mineral line. He's going to have to reveal it with the Masons and kill it with everything. But look at this. Now his production's on top of... No! Ramen's totally cooked here. He's done. This... Well, okay. Wait, Ramen's going to have to get it done the hard way because this is not the look that we wanted to see. That being said... Oh, no, that one lake stays alive, too, on top of it. Never mind. I was going to say, maybe because Jack's worker count is so low, but Ramen's is getting absolutely minced. GG. Jack is threatening him. He is on series point right now. Who's actually going to face the Shambler, dude? What's going on here? And because I am not a fraud, Ramen in the bottom right is our Platinum Terran. Jakulangski in our top left is our Coyote Brown. Oh, just regular Brown Zerg. There you go. Color guess complete. All right, lads. I didn't really think I'd say this, but this actually could be our final match of our series. And it's not because Ramen is on 2. It's because Jakulangski is on 2. He's over here in the bottom left. He is our some kind of yellow Zerg in the bottom. Is it Aralide Yellow finally? No, it's Brass. Okay, well. Screw me. Maybe Aralide Yellow is like a legacy color name and it's been renamed a while ago and I didn't know. I've never seen it. I swear I've never seen it. In the top left, we've got Ramen. He is the Smoky Black Terran. So at least I've gotten... I think I did one game where I guessed everything correctly and then everything else was 50%. So you can tell me what my color guess percentages was. You can tell me that percentage in the comment section, of course. You can tell me that I'm a goober. And yeah. Oh, also, because I remember the last time I was doing live color guessing, but it wasn't like in this context, was I was spectating a team game and Fox was in it and he was trying to roast me because I got color guesses incorrectly. And that reminded me that the Night Fox has released a Zerg campaign, or at least like a beta version of it, in our map submissions folder. I don't know why I'm telling you this in the middle of a game 4 of a series between Jack and Ramen, but anyway, that's something that came to mind just now, and I figured I would announce that so you guys can go check that out. It's in our Discord server. I guess if you know him personally on Discord or whatever, you can ask him without being in our Discord server, but I would check that out for sure because it's cool when people make campaigns. And, you know, give him some feedback if you like. This is Blackwater Bastion, a map by Biddy Bee, one of our 4 spawn maps, the only one that's in this rotation. Radium is our decider if we need it, because Jack has been on a tear. But our Terran player is not folding yet, continuing with double Fulcrum. Mason Scout is going around the world, so it'll be a box scout finding Jack last. Jack, of course, not scouting, because why would Zerg scout? Zerg don't need to scout. I guess he just trusts that Ramen will continue doing the Fulcrum first, or that he'll be able to adapt to whatever cheese happens. He has the leverage now. He is the man with the plan, with the 2-1 scoreline. So let's see what happens, as the Vulture will actually make a beeline directly to Jack's base, since he's going to the bottom left, because the Mason is to the bottom right. And again, I talked about this before. It's not a biggest of notes, but you can actually see the Kagra. I mean, what does it come to? Like here, probably like here-ish. So basically, as soon as you get up the ramp, you can see the Kagra. So that ends up helping Ramen out on the scout. He can actually pull his Mason way further back. It's okay. I'm not harping on him that he didn't do that. I'm just saying that's like a little trick you can use when you know you're against Zerg. You don't need to scout as deep on these 4-spawn or 3-spawn maps. Multi-spawn maps, shall we say. Technically, 2-spawn is multiple. But whatever. If every 2-player game is a co-op game, right? That means that when you play on 2-spawn maps, you're playing a co-op map together. It's who can make the most entertaining game to cast. You know what I mean? That's the object. So we have some vultures up here. They are chasing the Zeths down in the middle as well, though. And that's going to be one taken out. I think that'll pretty much sell exactly where he is. I mean, the Zeth is moving to the top right to confirm, but when you see vultures, multiple vultures, like waypointing there, I suppose he would have denied more info if he was on attack move, but not really the biggest of deals. We've got 8 quads on the ramp burrowed. We'll see. We can test jakulangski's like reaction time here, right? Because the vultures could just go straight up the ramp. But I don't know if Ramen is going to be ballsy enough to do that. He's getting close enough that he should have been attacked already by the cliff-advantaged Quasi, right? We think about the range there. +1. Zeth clears a mine, but otherwise does not really accomplish too much. It's a Nath Rush. Is he going to go like Nath Gorg or something like that? He's already got the Zorki Shroud up. I guess he can just try to defend with this and then use the fact that they're close distance by air to attack him with the air raid. We don't have any anti-air units, actually. We have nothing that shoots up, so this could be pretty deadly. But we'll see what happens as the vultures storm the gates. This is more than enough vultures to overwhelm, but they are going to overkill unless there's good targeting spread. And there you go. You can see Ramen trying to naturally target spread them. The vultures take the most damage here from the Quas. But look at this. Back in the main base, we've got Chaos and Bedlam. This is cheese. This is cheesy. Jakulangski's a cheesy color. And now he's doing cheesy things. I don't think the Nats are going to be the most deadly here. The problem is that the vultures are not finding headway across the map, and the ground units can just come across the map anyway and finish the job if he's not careful. He's got more vultures here. Never mind. This is way more than enough vultures to deal with this. Unfortunately, the Watchdog is going to have to cycle back over. Yeah, this is so many vultures. Ramen could still end this. He's making a single Goliath as well. He's down to 15 workers, but it doesn't matter because that's the same as Jack, so not really that far back. 2 Gorgs on the way. He doesn't realize it, but the vultures could come up here and just clean house. Indeed, that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, here we go. Man, we could so easily be on to a Game 5. Radium, here we come. I don't know how you're going to come back from this position, but multiple Larvosks going down might not be the biggest of deals. They focus down them eventually, and the pool units are going to be eaten for dinner. Or maybe lunch. I guess it's closer to lunchtime here. Of course, when this video is posted, it's breakfast. Brunch. It's Zerg brunch. I feel like Zerg would probably taste pretty bad, but Terrans are pretty good cooks, right? They gotta be because they're human. And humans can be pretty good cooks. So I bet you could prepare it. I think that might have been my official answer when somebody asked that question in the Discord's lore section. All right, well, the mine hits are pretty good. They actually slow the Gorg down, so the Goliaths are going to be able to riposte this as best they can. The Naths do reduce armor, so you got to watch out for that. I don't know what happened here. Oh, yeah, there you go. I think both of the Goliaths weren't firing. And now they'll be able to take care of those Nathicores. Nothing really too big on that front. So the mech army looking pretty fearsome. We're switching into, like, Goliath Vulture, which is a funny comp versus Zerg, but definitely works. Still no expand. The Droleth has been dispatched. It will be slowed by multiple mines, as per usual. Mech army is pretty scary here. Definitely pretty scary. No more mines left for the Droleth to be stunned by, so he is going to try to make a beeline for it. And, you know, there's not that many pool units here, so maybe he can actually cancel it. Jack is making Lakes, so I feel like unless you have detection or you can actually get on top of them for the Goliaths to kill them, well, he's got a lot of mines. I guess he might still be able to do this. Yeah, this looks really good for Ramen, actually. He needs to get on top of the Lakers, or he needs to, like, wait for them to reposition. I would actually probably be, you know... Oh, man, I think he's actually, like, conditioned to give Jack respect when the Lakers are up. I think this is a totally winnable fight for the Volt and Goliath. You come over here, force them into the minefield that still exists, and then see what you can do. The Vultures are kind of fancying it already, going after that hatch to pressure. There's a really big mine hit, but the Lakers are still in range. At least one more mine gets played. Yeah. So this is the kind of pressure I was expecting. And now you try to maybe dive onto the Lakers, but instead he's not quite swift enough on the job. Vultures are a pretty responsive unit generally. Maybe Terran players disagree, but I feel like they are pretty good. And now, unfortunately, Not gonna quite be able to get much else on besides scouting that Circuith. Obviously, he knows the Zerkis is there, so no big reveals. He's definitely slowed the growth of jakulangski out. The reason why this is so oddly placed is this used to be a Larvosk, and so sniping those 2 Larvosks earlier was very good. Oh, this move so terribly hurts me. Ramen, not like this. All right, it's not over. It's not over. He does get another nice little pick onto the Lakers, but man, when you go double Ministry, it kills your ability to follow up with more military, and he has the Anseal coming, but he can't really brawl with the army if he's investing double Ministry, right? I feel like this is a comeback that is not necessary as far as like the economics of the situation. I think you can keep making Vulture Goliath, and you can weather the storm on the Lakers using the limited Anseal shielding you'll get, plus the detection. I think you can do a lot with that. But as of right now, with the Circuith on the way, I mean, Goliaths eat Circuits for breakfast. Dude, this army is so powerful for Ramen. He definitely could roast this position, but we'll see if it ends up happening. What Jack probably needs is more Lakers. He's only got the 2. And I don't know what's going to be the thought here. He's on top of his own mines! That could be disastrous. That could be so bad. Anseal is down in shields. Only the Quas can really threaten it. 1 Goliath did go down, but he also cleared a number of the Zoryus, so that ends up helping out quite a bit. Okay, it's hard to say right now. 1 Lakers is still there. The Goliath count reduced to 4. He's going to go for the Cyclops and Vulture combo drop into the main base because yeah, this looks like a layup here. Ramen definitely doing a much better job with the situation. He's adding more Fulcrums behind as long as he keeps steady unit production. He's just making Masons out of that 3rd Ministry, which I actually really like. Kind of like speeds you up when you know you've taken a little bit of eco damage. Like, I obviously critiqued the play to go extra Ministry. But if you're going to make it, I can at least, if you're going to do that point, I can at least talk about the good things about it, right? He's laying the mines. I actually really like this play. Unfortunately, he's going to stun himself because of the larva, the pesky larva. Now he should definitely swoop on in to try to accept those Drolets, but they do get swapped back. So that drop wasn't very efficient, unfortunately, for TopRamen. I thought maybe a little bit more would get done. I think he thought that too. He didn't get a single kill. Meanwhile, he's lost another Goliath to the getting dragged in. Extra watchdogs being made of the natural. The Gorgs are revealing themselves. Oh, this is a clumped up nightmare for the Terran mech. And those Goliaths are wounded, remember. This is so rough, especially as the rest of the army descends. Okay, so here's the question is, did Ramen do enough with his moves and with his mines to reduce the army count of jakulangski? Is he going to be able to do enough here? Because I feel like he's on the precipice of elimination. The Trojan there is scooping up vultures, but that's not necessarily going to be too useful. In fact, I'm not really entirely sure what I'm looking at here, but the Lakers are burrowing. The Gorgs are out in full force. Oh boy, even the police sirens are coming for this one. That's a whale and a half. Somebody was very upset to see TopRamen get pushed to the brink here. He's going to evacuate his Masons. Remember, he still has the comeback mechanic of that extra Ministry as long as it stays alive. He needs to be able to hold the floodgates down, but the tide is turning. He's making a lot of Goliaths. I don't think it really is going to be much of a difference maker here. Maybe he can still do a Gorg. Okay, there it is. That's a wrap there on the Gorg, but the Lakers are still there for Crocodile. There's so many units here. Jakulangski has actually done it. Jakulangski has defeated TopRamen in a hype match to make it through. He's not out of the Tribunal Stage yet. Ramen giving him the congrats. Jack dropped in the OMG. That's one way to type GG. Wow. I can't believe it, dude. I am so flabbergasted. I think there's a lot to talk about TopRamen's play. I don't think he was necessarily as dialed in as possible. It was a very late night time for his match timing, so there are some commiserations to be had there. But Jack has a chance to really gun it versus the Shambler. The winner of that match will make it into the Battlement stage, skipping the gauntlets entirely. Now, listen, I don't know what to make of this matchup now, because I feel like Jakulangski, if he's able to defeat Nebleim in practice games and Ramen in officials, you can put as many asterisks on it as you want, but eventually you gotta say, dude, congrats, that's a big scalp. If this were like the, some of the other ranking systems out there for the pro scene, or like an ELO ranking or whatever, like MMR system, you'd see Jack get a lot of MMR for winning this series. Dude, that was incredible. Absolutely stupendous. I can't believe it. Well, GG's to Jack. He's done it. He's made it happen. And I am so proud of him. I'm sure Nebline is too. For TopRamen commiserations, of course, the Gauntlet stage is open for you. Gauntlet stage signups are open, so anybody can go back in there. The only thing you can't be is already in the tournament. If you're already in the Battlement stage because you accepted an invite or because you won the Tribunal stage, then you can't be in the Gauntlet, of course. But other than that, open to everybody. So join us for that. And tomorrow, more Cosmonarchy. Stay tuned, subscribe, and all that excellent stuff. And good luck in the future, Jack, because against Chandler's weird style, you're probably going to need it.